have no bananas. We have no bananas today.
Hello, and welcome to I Don't Get It, the pop culture Get Off My Lawn cast, the podcast that features the attempted open-minded musings of two mid. Oh my God, I'm really jumping the gun here. Early 50s curmudgeons, bravely and boldly staring down their entertainment irrelevance. I read something the other day, Bill, that referred to back in the early 2020s. And I'm like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, old movies like from 2016,
No, but it's just early 2020s. We're like barely in the mid 2020s.
I know, man. Time dilation,
Yeah, time is a flat circle.
We're all Matthew McConaughey floating behind the bookshelf trying to get word to his daughter in the past, or in the future, whatever
What
it was.
movie is that? I don't know.
Interstellar.
I never saw that. Okay. Who never saw that? I'm Noah Tarnow. I'm the founder and the senior quiz master of the Big Quiz Thing, the trivia game show spectacular. And hello, and joining me this episode and always ...
Yes, ellipses. I am Bill Scurry of American Caesar Enterprises. I'm the founder and proprietor. And American Caesar Enterprises is just simply one man who can only plug in a USB-A port upside down for the first time every time he ever attempts it in his life.
Yeah, you never get it right the first time.
Never. That's why I'm glad we've gone to USB-C on Macintosh, which is essentially it's just a curvature. It doesn't have that the weird shape to it or whatever
right.
male
There's
female.
No up or down. Right.
Correct. No up or down.
So the standard USB is called USB-A. I've never heard that before.
That format, it was USB. I think it was A and B is the one you're thinking of, and then the C is pretty much what everything's had for the last 3 years.
I know about C.
Yeah.
I still have to use A on occasion, but I just thought it was just USB, no A, just USB.
Well, I mean, for the most part, it was, until they started.
And then retroactively, they did They did USB-B.
That's a good question. I mean, if they did, it was the same convention, so you never have to worry about a new plug. But I'm adapted out the ass over here. I got USB-A to C update, and also my iPhone before I bought this one was using that Apple Thunderbolt connection, which is that little flat.
Right.
And now that's all changed over to USB-C. So this is the connection cast. This is the cable cast.
I used to ask a trivia question that apparently whoever invented USB said our goal was that you plug it in and it just works. And I quoted that and I said that was the inventor of what. And I thought that was interesting.
That's interesting. Yeah,
it wasn't a good question.
They didn't give a fuck. Well, I remember, again, I've been screwing around installing Macs since the 90s. I haven't touched a PC probably since 94 or so. And, the way that you would connect a keyboard to a Macintosh computer was something called SCSI. Actually, before that, it was a serial plug, which is like that sort of 5-prong plug.
There was the little round thing with the holes in it.
3 prongs on top and like 2 on the bottom. And then there was the SCSI SCSI, which is a flat, gigantic plug that had 2 screws on this. There's all these old conventions.
Yeah, looked like a VGA thing.
Yeah, the problem is anytime you plug something in, you have to restart your computer because they would activate the port. The whole beautiful shorthand of USB was that it was plug and play. And
plug it in and it works.
That goes back to those like Bondi blue iMacs, like the Steve Jobs era of like iMacs. All that stuff was.
Yeah.
That was
oh my God!
magic.
It has no disk drive. Remember how shocking that was?
It was great. Yeah, it's just.
I still somewhere in storage. I have a bunch of stuff on floppy disks that I really would love to access. All the crap I wrote in college.
Yeah.
I wrote a lot of stuff that I'd like to see. I mean, there's got to be a place I could access that info, right?
Well, sure, you can just. I'm sure that somebody actually sells a disk drive
conversion, or I could send it somewhere and they could convert it.
I mean, it's not a problem. It's just that there's as much. It's like there's as much storage on a floppy disk now as there is on like 1/98th of your phone or something. It's
right,
it's
but in college that was all I needed. Speaking of Mac versus PC, I had an issue this week where an event my company did. My host went to the venue and he plugged into they had an AV team and like, sure, we'll help you. But they couldn't get his laptop working on the screens because have you ever heard of Crestron systems?
No. Is that an anti-cholesterol drug, I thought?
No, that's Crestor. Crestron makes high-end systems for homes and offices. And it's been around forever. And I always found like if I was doing an event at like a rich person's house, they often had a Crestron system. My impression was Crestron is like the expensive system that people pay for because they want the most expensive one.
Yeah.
I think I'm kind of selling it short there, but we had a big problem. Apparently, Crestron has a lot of trouble reading Macs.
Yeah.
And I'm
probably heavily proprietary architecture.
I think that's part of it, but I'm like, it's not like hardly anyone uses a Mac. And I get it that like in the world writ large, it's the minority, but like every world I travel in, at least half the people have Macs. So just like if you're this high-end, great, cut above system, like how can you not handle this thing? I mean, it's not like we're asking to plug in a ColecoVision or something, right? Like it's not obscure. They have their own stores in every city. It's Macs.
It's a choice. It's a decision.
I found that frustrating.
It's a high-end retailer for high-end entertainment system. They make a decision to play the exclusion game. That's their whole selling point.
Yeah, and that was my thing. Is I just think it's rich people who just like give me the most expensive one because that's the best. Well, it's a little.
No, that's exactly what it is. Bay Area.
Like
shit.
I don't know. Maybe I'm selling.
I'm sure a lot of
Hamptons in the Bay Area.
There's a lot of Hamptons houses.
This is Jersey City, New Jersey, Bill. To tell you
the highest of the highest, the best of the best.
The best of the best is the most.
Ivory Towers of Jersey City.
It's not a bad place.
No, it's a very
anyway.
nice place.
So enough about connectors. Hello. We talk about pop culture. Things are happening, new things. And I'll tell you, Bill, our topic this week. It crossed you had never heard of it. It crossed my transom because there was an article about it in Slate, an online magazine I read. You might read. And I tell you, this is an example. We talk about stuff like this in the show all the time. I've never heard of this. You've never heard of it. We talked to our friends about it. Half of them had never heard of it.
No one's heard of it. It's unheard of.
Nobody's heard of it. Yet somehow tens of thousands of people are fans of this thing, going out of their way to pay money and engage in this. Literally tens of thousands of people. Okay, Bill, I have a stat here that I'm going to tell you once I dig it up. Tens of thousands of people, Bill.
Yeah.
Last April, a record was set. 80,000 people went out to see our topic this week, Banana Ball. Now I'm talking 80,000 people in one event. One event, not 80,000 people for the whole month. One event, 80,000 people. That's almost as many as at WrestleMania 3, supposedly the most attended wrestling event in history, which, I was at in 1987. That was 93,000, although the scuttlebutt is that number was pulled out of Vince McMahon's ass. Let's not talk about Vince McMahon's ass. Okay, so Banana Ball. Maybe you've never heard of Banana Ball. If you haven't, we'll tell you about Banana Ball. Banana Ball is a variety of baseball. Among their slogans are, "We make baseball fun," "The greatest show in sports," and apparently their motto, their lodestar, their North Star, and the title of a book written by its co-founder is Fans First. Banana Ball is a variation of baseball, played, first of all, with a lot of showmanship, but also with different rules. Among the rule changes from standard, boilerplate Major League Baseball, each game has a 2-hour limit. They calculate the scores a little differently. You get 1 point for having the most runs in an inning. If a foul ball is caught by fans in the stands, it counts as an out. Players can steal first base. A couple other rules that are less interesting to me because I'm not much of a baseball fan.
No bunting, Noah. Bunting is illegal.
No bunting. Bunting is illegal. So, but, as I said, the main thing at first blush that sets Banana Ball apart from standard baseball is showmanship. It is the easiest way to describe this, although apparently they bristle at this description, is it's Harlem Globetrotters, but with baseball. Although, the game isn't fixed like Harlem Globetrotters. Yes, so Krusty the Clown will have better luck if he bets.
You thought the Generals were due.
Banana Ball game. They were due. Apparently they've won like twice in like 50 years. What happened that night? I really want to know. No, the games aren't fixed, but there's a lot of showmanship, circus antics, hence the greatest show in sports. To quote their website, we have the Banana Nanas, a senior citizen dance team. We have the Man-Nanas, our dad bod cheerleading squad, and the Banana Splits, a youth dance team. Unquote. Also,
sponsored by Sid and Marty Krofft, by the way.
That would be awesome, but no. I went to a Harlem Globetrotters game about 20 years ago. I was really excited, and it sucked. It was it was for it was like Sesame Street level. It was for like 5-year-olds. It was really boring. They have fan contests not only between innings, but between outs. They have, the players do coordinated choreographed dances, a lot of scoring celebrations. Players come up wearing costumes, wearing kilts, wearing animal heads, wearing wacky helmets. Also, they spotlight, they created a charity called Banana Fosters for foster children. That's very clever. That made me wonder, like, did they come up with a name and then decide we're going to help foster children? So they spotlight them at the games. And yes, they are. What I'm talking about here, by the way, I haven't said that I'm sort of talking about one team. The flagship team of the Banana Ball League is the Savannah Bananas, based in Savannah, Georgia. Now, what happened was...
That's Georgia the state, by the way, not Georgia the country.
Georgia the state. Although, you want to hear something ironic about the city of Savannah, Georgia? If you look up Savannah in the dictionary, like a grassless plain or something, it specifically says most often found in the state of Florida, yet the city's in Georgia. Very interesting. So cast your mind back to 2015. Jesse Cole, a former baseball coach, minor league baseball coach, and his wife, Emily Cole, they took charge of a Savannah team in the Coastal Plain League, one of these summer college players.
It just rolls off the tongue,
Right. And the team was failing. And 2016, they kind of rebuilt the team. They renamed them the Savannah Bananas, thinking that's a clever name. And again, they weren't selling many tickets. But they started injecting some of the showmanship into it. Jesse, I listened to some interviews with him. He claims a lot of inspiration from classic showmen like Walt Disney and P.T. Barnum. And over time, the game started becoming more popular, and they started selling a lot of tickets, and the team even got better, and it won whatever cup is in that tiny little league. And in 2018, the team created the alternative Banana Ball rule sets with the rules I mentioned before. And by 2022, the team had broken off from this coastal league and basically created its own league, which now has 4 official teams in it: the Savannah Bananas, the Party Animals, the Firefighters, and the Texas Tailgaters. However, they all basically just play, all of them, their home stadium is this same stadium in Savannah, the Grayson Stadium, affectionately referred to as Banana Land. And they got a deal with ESPN in 22. Occasionally they have female players. Their most famous player is named Dakota Stilts All-Britain. He plays on stilts. And they're a barnstorming team. They travel the country and play. They are going to be in our hometown of New York City playing Yankee Stadium 2 nights from now, Bill.
Yeah. I wonder if they'll fill the place out. There's really...
They have sold out every game, apparently, for 5-6 years now. Like I said, 80,000 people at a game in April. The games have dancing, scoring, fan contests, crazy costumes. The games sell out. They have 10.8 million followers on TikTok. That is more than the official Major League Baseball TikTok account. They started playing some regular teams, not major league teams, but some minor league teams. They have Derek Huff, who's apparently a TV star dancer. He's been on Dancing with a Celebrity, is one of those shows. I saw a video of him guest dancing with the Bananas. They have signed deals. You can now watch their games streamed on HBO Max, True TV, other networks. And they try to keep up that fans first philosophy. They manage their own ticketing. So Savannah Banana Ball games have a lot fewer fees than Major League Baseball. They don't have advertising in the stadium, apparently. Somehow, they offer all-you-can-eat food in the stadium. I don't know how much it costs, but apparently you get all-you-can-eat hot dogs.
Here's the question. How much do you want to eat?
Yeah.
It's kind of the incentive here.
I know.
That's why it's so reasonable.
I know. So, like I said, tens of thousands of people are going to this thing. Millions of people are watching it online. These players look like they're having the time of their lives. That Slate article is about apparently how this has an inordinate number of female fans because the players are good-looking dudes who the way they dance has attracted, a fair amount of a certain type of female attention. Of course, the games look extremely family-friendly. Tons of kids there having a good time. So, Bill, investigating this, what did you think of Banana Ball?
Well, at first I thought you were steering me like, is this a sequel to Pickleball? Like, I honestly did not understand.
Oh, I didn't think of that. We did Pickleball, now we're doing Banana Ball.
It's all sorts of fruits and vegetable and, a brined thing ball. Yeah, it's a whole category of these things, the radish ball. Yeah, even after you started texting, you texted me leads and the freaking thumbnail would pop up you sent the Slate thing twice, and it's like, what the fuck am I looking at? What is this even a picture of? It was a kick line of guys who were like wearing glitter, and I had no idea. It was like, is this some fucking drag queen shit? I have no idea what this thing is. Yeah, and so you sent the podcast over, and I listened to that. Anyway, whatever. I didn't get what it was. And I'll be honest, even after I was watching videos, I still kind of didn't understand what it was for a while. I was putting new sheets on the bed this morning and listening to podcasts. I'm like, what are these guys talking about? What am I missing? Am I not seeing the visuals? These people are just speaking in such sport generalities.
Well, did you start with that Pivot podcast I sent you?
Yes, that's where I started.
Because that was your mistake. I'm going to get to that. But that podcast offered a horribly small level of context, which enraged me. But go ahead.
Sure. I mean, that's just those two guys that travel around. I have no idea what that podcast is. I prefer Pivot from Kara Swisher. That's a better, it's a better podcast. But yeah, so once I found out what it was, I guess I snapped it in a moment that I was going to say, this is kind of like the WWE baseball, except, it's slanted towards flash of performance, except the game result presumably is not scripted. They do play and coach.
No, it's not. These are real games. It's not like the Washington Generals. The non-banana teams win pretty often. Yeah,
but it's the flash of it, the sort of volume of the personalities, even the fact that they're in a circuit in the South, that reminds me of old school wrestling from the 70s and the 80s.
Yeah.
Even
barnstorming, man.
Yeah.
It's what a lot of teams did in the old.
That's what the Negro Leagues did. That was that's like this is sort of the sum. This was American sports before the mid-century.
Were the Negro Leagues barnstorming? I thought they all had hometowns.
I thought, but I did. I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm talking to my ass. It's been a long time since I've done anything but checking.
You're not America's preeminent expert on the history of the Negro baseball leagues. I thought that was you, Bill.
So the men who people this league are. I looked at the Savannah team. The title of this episode I think is going to be based on the Savannah Bananas.
You want to call it Savannah Bananas, not Banana Ball?
Yeah, I think that's like the Captain America, but that's the figurehead. Is like the guy in the freaking mustard yellow suit with the mustard yellow bowler derby. All this weird goofy bullshit.
That's Jesse Cole. By the way, he's sort of an MC at these events, and he always wears a yellow tuxedo with a
there's
a lot of yellow at these games.
He sounds like a Tony Robbins kind of like he's a real like positivity first motivational kind of guy. He's sort of very I want to say new agey, but there's that thing to it where he's all about your potential and your spirit and serving the fans.
He's playing a role on those podcasts.
Sure,
That's what people do when they're interviewed on those podcasts.
Yeah, but look, the guys they passed the microphone around. They talked to the guy who's the stilt dude, and he looks like a panhandle guy. He's got like a thick Florida accent, and some of these other guys look like they're there's like a sunny type of a jock, like a positivity jock, sporty dudes with like jack builds. And, like the backflips as they catch a ball and the choreo as they dance, that stuff is almost just as important as nailing a pop fly, to end an inning or something like that. And it's like another thing they do is like apparently the festivities begin like 2 hours before the opening pitch. Like it's a road show in addition to a barnstorm because it's like they're out in the parking lot, whooping it up with the guy's a hype man and the guys are doing dances and they're doing sing-along and karaoke and they're doing all this, it's like a lot of pre-gaming and tailgating and it's never ending, that kind of thing. So look, I think that the team and the game, we're not talking about the party animals, the firefighters and the Texas tailgaters. We're talking about the bananas because that's where the guy, this guy. Corey,
yeah, but do the other teams even play against each other without the bananas?
I didn't get the like that. The thing is, it's like I think the important part of this that I walked away from is that I think the whole idea that this guy Cole wanted to do was essentially de-boringify baseball. Yeah, and it's like, hey man, no fucking I don't give a shit about baseball. I don't care about this. However, it's like fucking baseball is murder, man. Baseball is murder to watch. There's whatever the romance is, it's gone. I don't know what this. I never had it. I never understood it. It's overblown. So, and the Slate article cited the sort of thirsty Southern ladies who like to pack the stands of college stadia wherever they play. Because, these dudes, look, some baseball players have, like, rocked out. Some of these baseball players in the major leagues have ass. Like, these guys have, like, they are specimens the way they weren't back in the Johnny Bench days. Because because they smoked and took amphetamines. But these guys are like athletes who keep a year-round schedule. And so I think these guys kind of like they play in short shorts. They play like there is definitely some appeal to, you know, like you're they're not shy about sort of sex appeal or, you know, goofy sex appeal. It's very chaste, but it's kind of cheesecakey, himbo-y kind of thing, you know. And so
very much.
Yeah, you know, that kind of thing. So, you know, one would presume that the game leans into casting handsome boys explicitly to, you know, appeal to the female fan base.
Yeah, but these guys are legit baseball players.
They're legit athletes.
I have any of these guys gone on to the major league? I think I read a couple of them did.
Well, I don't know that. I know that a lot of these guys were intending to go, and sometimes they blew their shoulder out, or there was something that like they just needed to play a low impact version, like an exhibition.
You and I aren't getting recruited for this league.
I'm not even getting like. I was going to say, what's another brined, cabbage ball or something? I'm not getting asked to play that, for God's sake.
Yeah. So the first thing I did. I read the Wikipedia page first, but the first thing I did was listen to that Pivot podcast. And as I said, that pissed me off. So apparently this is I'd never heard of it. It's a very popular podcast hosted by 3 NFL stars, Ryan Clark, Fred Taylor, and Shannon Crowder. And it had the problem that a lot of podcasts have, which is like, hey, we're just buddies. We're going to talk about whatever, and we're going to provide no context. So unless you are already... And that's fine. Like, you usually don't listen to a podcast like this unless you're fans of these guys. I'd never heard of these guys. So I'm like, oh, these are NFL guys? Who are these guys? But like, they just started talking about banana ball without really saying what it is. And that stuff drives me nuts because it is talk about not fans first. It's not listeners first. That angered me. This stuff angers me. And listening to that and hearing Jesse Cole talk about his philosophy, he sounded like a complete asshole. He was comparing the moment where he compared himself to Walt Disney. I sent you that, and I thought that would piss you off because you're such a big Disney fan. And I'm like, this motherfucker.
The guy was able to quote Walter Elias Disney. I mean, granted, if you go to Disney for any extended period of time, you will see these quotes recapitulated. But Walt had kind of a glossary that he would whip out a bunch of like aphorisms and homespun shit. This guy knows all that stuff. It's like
once I read a little more and listened to another podcast, I'm like, okay, maybe he really is a Disney fan. He's not just pulling this out of his ass. He actually has, studied the philosophy of Walt Disney. So I read a bunch of articles. I listened to a better podcast about him, The Daily Creative with Todd Henry. I thought that was a much better précis to what is Banana Ball, who is Jesse Cole. Cole told some of the same stories, but, he was given better context to deal with it with a better interviewer. So I thought he made a lot more sense. Then, of course, I watched a game from September 7th. The Bananas versus the Firefighters played in San Diego. And like I said, they're playing at Yankee Stadium in a few days. They play in major league parks, big places, 80,000 people. Now, I don't like baseball very much, but I generally enjoy it when I watch it. If I'm sitting around with friends or the one time every 5 years I'm at a baseball stadium with friends, I like the milieu of baseball a lot more than a lot of other sports, way more than football, that's for sure. So it feels like something that leans into the aspects of baseball I like, the laughter, the bonhomie, the talking, the distractions, the wacky stuff.
The boys of summer, Noah. The boys of summer.
The boys of summer, right? Summertime, boys. All these
a deadhead sticker on a Cadillac.
Yeah. Don't look back. You can never look back.
That is true.
Best song ever released. Best song ever released by any Eagle, in my opinion. And I really like the fan first element. One of my biggest problems with sports is how it feels like, and to be clear, I really don't. Not only am I not a sports fan, but like I have a problem with sports and how we treat it in our society. And granted, that's not just an American thing. I know that, but I feel like we degrade ourselves in the way that sports has such a central place in our culture. It always feels like a very one-sided parasitic relationship. Now, I know I'm not getting out of it. Most people get out of sports. I know people have fun and the passion and the sense of unity that you get from it. And I don't get that. I mean, the moments I really get sucked in, the rare moments in my life I've gotten sucked, when the Montreal Canadiens were hot and I was living in Montreal, I felt that. And it was seductive. I hear you.
That's hockey in Montreal. That is a different place and a different time, right. A different thing. Yeah.
And I was a teenager too. So, it was like against the law for me not to be into hockey. But 98% of my life, when I haven't had those moments, sports angers me. The teams feel like they suck the fans in the cities dry. I just saw that in the Bay Area where the Oakland A's, who just fuck you, we're leaving for a better deal. These teams say, we want you to spend money. We want you to pay for the stadium. We want you to buy the merch. But as soon as someone offers more money, out of here. No loyalty. They suck the fans in the cities dry. They move as soon as they get a better deal somewhere else. They ask for a lot, but from my view, they provide very little in return. So the idea of sports that is focused, and I know it's hype and all that, but from the extent I've done this, they seem to be walking the walk reasonably, that is focused on giving something to the fans, that has a lot of appeal to me.
It'd be nice if they just came to you. Yeah, Tariq. Can you imagine the entire Savannah Bananas baseball team showing up here? It's a nice thought, but it's impossible.
No, why in God's fucking hell is this thing popular?
Well, I think the fast pace suits our current mood and our current media. I mean, I like that the games they're limited to 2 hours. There's like a countdown clock and the little thing in the corner.
It's now shorter than most general Hollywood releases in the movie theater.
Yeah.
Ironically.
Because everyone, people complain that baseball games are too long, and I definitely have felt that.
They've always been long. Yes, it's absolutely true. They've always been long.
Right.
It's not a new comment, nor is it incorrect.
So they count down, and apparently no new inning could start after an hour, 50 minutes into it. So a lot of games don't go to 9 innings, which I think is kind of cool. And then I think a lot of people are more and more coming around to my point of view. This idea that not just, big sports teams, but I mean, we definitely see this out there. Large organizations, large corporations, large money-making ventures are taking advantage of us and not appreciating us and not giving enough back to us, and that they don't care about us.
They're in shitifying, according to Cory Doctorow.
Right, exactly. Not just Cory Doctorow at this point. And someone who, I mean, I'm sure you could argue it's a lot of bullshit, but as I said, I feel like there's more non-bullshit than bullshit that they're giving something back. Now, whether this lasts, whether this has staying power, I don't know. From what Jesse Cole said, it sounds like he's going to he's always improving it. He's always changing it. And he's going to try to adapt it with the times. We shall see. I am dubious that this lasts a long time, but you never know. Another thing, and you brought this up, is the positivity, talking about it's a fun thing. It's about believing in yourself, all that. You brought that up. Cole plays that part well. He's a very good hype man for this thing in these podcasts. And that seems to be a tenor of our time. Now you could say that's full of bullshit. People talk positivity, but I mean, every influencer says, my brand is positivity. And they're just, they're making girls feel like they're too fat. So you could say it's toxic positivity and perhaps, but his brand, he's part of that. I don't think he's quite as toxic as other people, but he's definitely in league with that.
Yeah, this is baseball without the chaff. And there's a lot of chaff in baseball, man. I mean, a shitload of it. I think it's a chaff.
Sometimes literally.
It's a chaff-based sport, exactly.
I mean, have you seen those tight uniforms? Oh, that's chafe. Sorry.
The ball game has been, I think, sanded down, compressed. The games are compressed, like you say. The rules are designed to maximize the energy by kind of like removing any potential water hazards or slowdowns. The idea is they're just trying to make the game roll because it's really more an entertainment product, I think, more than the sportsmanship. There's the thing, you wouldn't be faulted for thinking that the whole actual point of Major League Baseball is the slowdowns. It's like it's a game based on impediments and fucking
I'm sure there are people arguing that we sell more ads, we can run more ads and things like that.
But I remember in the late 90s, early 2000s, they were talking about, can we speed up the game? And it's like, stop. Every time, the delay mechanisms of the coach going to the mound to consult with the pitcher, it was always strategic. The idea was to throw a monkey wrench and slow the pace of the game down. So people, whatever. I don't know. What do I know about baseball? So, and not only that, the appearance earlier this year, I think it was just a couple of weeks ago on Fallon, I think it seems kind of perfect, or at least appropriate, because the personality and wit of the sport is just as grinning and as corny as the talk show host himself. Wait,
I'm sorry, I didn't get this. The banana ball guy was on Jimmy Fallon?
A whole team was on Fallon.
I didn't know that. You should have said that.
I should have sent it to you. That's.
I'm always looking for an opportunity to watch Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah. Of course they did dancing. There's sing-alongs.
Of course they are on
the Roots
Fallon.
played.
Of course
Whatever. You get the point. Anyway, the thing is, it's
I'm
like
not gonna watch it.
this is a USRDA full serving of corn, all of the corn.
Okay.
No. Look, I'm saying it must make happy those beleaguered farmers at the moment in America who no longer have USAID clients to sell their husk crops to.
The second chance, like every day being able to compete, it feels like a second chance for me. And every day is a second chance. If I messed up yesterday, like I was just telling you, tomorrow's going to be a good day.
Were you ever into baseball?
No, never.
But you were into hockey, right?
Yeah, briefly. I think I did about 10 years in the hockey mines. Yeah.
I did 10 years. 10 years. I did 20 fucking years in the hockey mines. Anyway, if you were a young man now, would this draw you in to any appreciable extent?
Oh man, baseball is just ocular eyeball death to me. I mean, it always has been.
It's better than football. Football's the worst. Man.
It's like maybe you're splitting hairs for me. And the thing is, we've already broached that topic because we talked about torpedo bats and Shohei Ohtani just this year alone. This has been the most baseball-laden year of my entire life. It's like I'm living with a maintenance disease like diabetes or something.
Well, the Amsterdam team is doing really well this year. They're doing
great. The Amsterdam
they're a wild card team in the World Series race.
Yeah, the canals dwellers. So if you add
hey, they call it the World Series. You think there'd be an Amsterdam team,
right? Or a Belarusian team? You'd think they're going to get there this year. So if you add silly dances and broad slapstick to the mix of baseball, it's like even that. Look, that shit can't get me over the hump. But apparently, that is Cole. Like that's the thing. He's gotten people to sit through these games because it's not a huge. I don't know what the ticket prices are. Like you said, we did. It's not the point. But the thing is, all of the goofy shit he sort of built on top of it, this like weird Jenga of sloppy bullshit that's all stacked up, has worked. It's like that. But it does. It's not working for me. It's not the fish hook that I need to. The game mechanics of baseball lose me. Just generally, the game mechanics of baseball lose me. The vocabulary, the grammar of baseball is just unappealing to me. So no matter what you do with it, there's no coated mustard yellow paint and an umpire twerking, which will win me over. The thing is, I think though this is I'll reemphasize maybe the positive point of all this is that these jocks don't take themselves seriously. Not that I've seen. Maybe there are some players who like real head down, chewing tobacco, spitting in the dugout type guys. But it's like everyone we saw that you're sort of made public, the face of this thing, like these guys are real good time Joey Bag of Donuts type guys. They seem like not only
this has to be so much fun for them.
You would assume that these guys are good salesmen. It's like, so I think it's a plus on the board is that it looks more like a Vegas show in terms of like its athleticism and entertainment, and it looks like their job is to smile as they're doing their work rather than look like they're grunting through a modern dance, interpretive dance or something like that.
I have to imagine the vast majority of them fucking love it because they probably dreamed of being Major League Baseball and they probably realize that that's not going to happen or is highly unlikely at this point. But they still get to play for tons of fans. They still get to be out there. There's probably a lot less pressure on them than there is if they're in Major League Baseball. And they're probably getting laid like crazy.
And it's like the odds of playing in baseball. It's like you have a greater chance of being struck by lightning 12 times.
Yes.
It's like there's a greater chance of you playing this game for whatever they're paying you for, and that's probably a pretty good deal for you. If you just want to play the game, this is probably a good place for you to be to do that.
I mean, who knows what they're getting paid, but they do this. They're all young guys. They do this for a few years, and then they get a real job, right? Better than flaming out in college and working at your cousin's, car dealership or something. That's for sure.
Selling real estate.
Yeah. I think if I was younger, I might have been into this because, it's very basically only when we're researching the show where I am forced, quote unquote, forced to watch any sports. But I don't know about you, but being a young man in America in the 80s, there were a lot of times where I had to engage with sports. I had to play sports, whether at school, whether at camp, whether peer pressure from quote unquote friends, etc. I'd also have to watch sports. My dad liked sports. He's not a sports nut, but he likes baseball. I would watch baseball with him. Occasionally he'd take me to games, right? And, wasn't going to say no to that. And I think he wanted me to be a sports fan. And
he could beat you with a bat.
Yeah, he said, like this game. No, he wasn't that bad. He threw balls at me, but not bad. And then also like in the 20s, I would hanging out in my apartment. My roommate was a Yankees fanatic. And then a friend and listener, Aaron Grunfeld, he would hang out in our apartment. He's a Yankee. Our apartment basically became this Yankees like center. So when the Yankees are doing well, a lot of games would be watched in my apartment. I actually became a Yankees fan for a brief period of time, just getting caught up in the mania of all that. So I hated it. It bore the crap out of me. You know what I remember being? I remember being a little kid and being jealous of sports fans because Saturday mornings you get up and watch cartoons, but then by noon there was nothing on TV, right? Because the cartoons are over. And I'm like, damn, sports fans are so lucky. There's still stuff they want to see on TV in the afternoons on Saturday. So yeah, it's, I feel like if this had been an option to watch sports when I was a kid, I would have liked it. Now, I'm sure there's now a lot of boys who are being shamed, like, oh, this is faggy and this isn't real male. Like, apparently some, mental defective, must man harder or the queer will unpenis me characters online have screamed that this is, this defiles baseball.
They got to me already. Look at me.
Yeah, exactly. But, those people need a new magnifying glass to see their genitalia.
Rule number 1, win the inning, win the point. In banana ball, points are the most important. If you score the most runs in an inning, you get a point.
Noah, is this a sign of the apocalypse?
Absolutely not. Again, I'm buying what they're selling at this point. And if they're serving fans and succeeding, I think that is what our culture needs a lot more of. I've said this a million times. People want quality. The biggest band in history is also the best band in history. People didn't just watch The Sopranos. They got HBO just so they could watch The Sopranos. Now, we are swimming in a sea of crap of all kinds in our culture because crap is easier to sell and it's easier to buy and it has a more immediate level of satisfaction, especially during tough times. And our culture has doubled and tripled down on that trend. But, I think that you give people something that not only they want, but they makes them feel good, they're going to engage with it more. So this is what we need. We need a fans first attitude with our entertainment. We need a customer first attitude with, big business. We need a citizens first attitude with our civics, which we certainly do not have. So, this is in a very, very small way, but maybe not so small because baseball is damn big in this country. This is an antidote to what ails us.
I don't think it's the biggest. I think basketball. No, that's not true. I guess NFL overtook it. These sports, they neck and neck. NFL's the king. I think basketball has sort of been in retrograde for a couple
I know, but
years
baseball.
now.
There's a reason they call baseball America's pastime because it has the history that the other sports don't.
It's
iconically American more than the other sports.
Well, I think people packing ball fields across the lower 48, or probably not even that many sports stadiums. I don't know how many states they've actually been to. They're watching some globetrotter like antics and showmanship. That's not the worst thing. It's, winds up being a Muppets on Ice or what the fuck. It's like, honestly, is it the worst thing in the world to see? No, it's take your kids to it, take your grandma to it. It's not going to be that long. You can't get that fucked up on cheap stadium beer. Fine. Like I said, I'm an anti-baseball orthodoxy myself, and so I don't take that fucking Roger Angell literary approach to the primacy of the sport and the place in American identity. Fuck all that. Fuck Roger Angell.
P.T. Barnum said, without promotion, something terrible happens. Nothing.
Bill, in any way are you jealous of the Savannah bananas, the banana ball phenomenon? Any way you would like to be a fruit product ball aficionado person?
Pickled banana ball. No,
banana
man.
ball,
Look,
pickleball.
the people who enjoy baseball, the people who like attending sporting events, sitting in that fucking open air stadium, getting a sunburn. In 1992, watching the New York Mets take on the San Diego Padres at Shea Stadium and having one of the most terrible sports events of my life, boring beyond belief.
Why did you go?
Because my friend Rich had tickets, and I was like, okay, we should do this. And I'm like, oh, this is definitely not for me. Look, the people enjoy the beer leagues even, or fucking mini golf. It's like, this is for them. I'm happy. I got no part in it. And no, I'm sure that as Ted Williams, the estimable Ted Williams, known as Teddy Baseball, Boston Red Sox, great, legendary.
What a boring nickname, Teddy Baseball.
The frozen head of Ted Williams would say, "I'll be gesund, boy chick."
One of my problems with sports is I find their nicknames to be very unimaginative. Like Wayne Gretzky is the greatest hockey player ever, so they call him the Great One. Like, yeah, that really took a lot of creativity.
Reggie Jackson was Mr. October, because
Mr. October, because he played in October. Yeah, it's great. If I were a big sports guy, my name would be Mr. Good at the Game.
You know what? I like Pete Rose's nickname is my favorite still.
What, felon number 62534?
Charlie Hustle. That is a great
Hustle.
fucking name. Yeah.
Yeah. That was Jimmy McGill's nickname in Better Call Saul.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, we're off topic here. I am very jealous of this. Very jealous. So listening to Jesse Cole talk about his quote unquote philosophy as a showman, it's very much like the philosophy in some ways at the root of what I do. And a lot of what drove me when I started, I had this vision of doing trivia events a different way. And I realized it to some extent, but clearly not remotely the extent of the success of the Savannah Bananas or Banana Bowl. And it sounds like he took some chances that I never had the nerve, the managerial skills, or the clarity of thought to take. And to the extent I did follow through in this philosophy, it was in a field that doesn't have as much cultural cachet. People aren't hungry. Trivia does not have the place of primacy. It's gotten more popular, but does not have the place of privacy in our culture that baseball does, not by a
but he also,
a fly ball.
The region to the south he's in, it's north of the Grapefruit Leagues, and it's really, he lives in basketball and football country. So it's like sort of being iconoclastic with baseball isn't the, you'd think there's some places where this wouldn't fly. And yet I think he kind of picked the right region just because there's not this weighted culture.
Still, but you could be in the least baseball fandom county of the country and it's still going to be a billion times have more cultural cachet than team trivia. I mean, come on.
Well, that is true, yeah.
But no, I'm just going to say it. He was better than me. I don't know if he worked harder, but clarity of thought, his vision was more, my vision was always a little amorphous. It mutated a little like an amoeba. He seemed to be a little more laser. I mean, whatever. I don't know the dude.
His suit is yellower than yours too.
Right. It's very yellow. It's possible the whole thing is built on a house of cards and it's all going to collapse next week and they have no money.
It's just it's a pyramid scheme.
It's a pyramid scheme. He's selling Amway to fund it. So yeah, I'm very jealous because he has done something similar to me and he's on HBO and I'm not, so I'm jealous.
All right, Noah, what about this is another unholy intersection of our topic and James Hiram Aloysius Weatheringham Fallon IV. This is the Fallonian scale, and it actually it flirts with Fallon himself. So where would you rank this topic in our array of topics?
By the way, speaking of Jimmy Fallon, last week in Learned League, the online trivia league we're both in, there was a question that I presume you knew because a topic of ours was on Jimmy Fallon.
No, there was another one too. What was the question?
It was about the Costco guys, and it
described
their videos, and it said they're famous for posting videos at what store.
Yeah, and there was a Fallon I think a week earlier than that. I blew it. He was one of the hosts of the late Letterman slot. I had completely mind-holed.
Oh yeah.
I blew that. I blew that. Yeah, I forgot it. Yeah.
It basically said who hosted the Tonight Show between Conan O'Brien and Seth Meyers.
Yeah, exactly. I just memory hold it, man. I wanted to banish. I Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind it, so that's what happened.
I don't blame you. I dug it up. Okay, so this seems very simple and clear to me for the most part. Take Boots on the Ground, which you looked at a few weeks ago. The fun, getting people together, physicality, that kind of thing. Multiply it by Shohei Ohtani, baseball, right? And then I multiplied it by 2/3 of K-pop Demon Hunters. Just something that feels in many ways very modern, but also pretty positive. And then you add 32.174 and a half. Yes, 0.174 and a half, folks.
Yeah, repeating.
I've calculated this out to the last angstrom, and that's where in the XYZ AA axes of possible past show topics you will find.
If you get me the DeLorean, I want to go back and meet Angstrom and shake his hand for his contribution to culture. I just, or maybe Shrapnel, George Shrapnel, the other guy too. I'll go back and say.
So if you had a time machine, all you do is go back in time to meet people whose stuff is named after. You make a sandwich.
Yeah. Just I want guys whose names have become, like proper nouns
Words.
for. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
George Sabotage. I don't know. That's not a guy. We all
know.
No,
you know where sabotage comes from?
Yeah, the French shoes, the sabot being thrown into the machinery.
Throwing shoes in a
sabotage.
I like that.
Well, here we have the actual, like I said, the topic is flirting verifiably, critically. It's colliding with Fallon, and so I guess the Savannah Bananas entertain me as much as he does, which is not,
come on, this has to be better than that.
It's whatever. Look, one is active disinterest and one is just like I don't care. What am I saying?
Yeah, but one you hate.
One I hate, but it's like I'm not.
You don't hate this the way you hate Jimmy Fallon, do you?
No. But I'm not going to be. No, it's for whatever reason. The sum effect is I don't care about either, though. I'm not watching.
Yeah, but I don't care about anything, Bill. I mean, even the stuff on the show I say I like, I barely think about.
You're like the guys from the Big Lebowski. You believe in nothing. You're the nihilist. I mean, it must be exhausting being a nihilist all day.
Day by day, I'm getting closer, my friend.
So I don't have the story. But you're right, though. I don't have the story of enmity built up for the game. So based on basic disinterest, I'm going to compass with the Met Gala, Noah. But I'm going to put an asterisk here because I want this to go on record. Also, the Minions on account of how much I heard the word banana in the last 24 hours.
Oh, see, now now I'm associating it. How many people do you think have attended both the Met Gala and a Savannah Banana game?
Oh, good question. Andre Leon Talley? I don't know.
Actually, you bring that up, it might be some, fabulous kind of, flamboyant gay man, maybe.
Billy Porter? I don't know.
I bet you a higher percentage of Savannah Banana audience is LGBT than an MLB audience.
Lindsey Graham, he'll be there,
Please, let's not end with that. Let's not end with the Minions, and let's not end with him. Banana Ball. Hey, have a good time.
Have a good time. Get out there. So, if you guys want to listen to something while you're driving to the ball game stadium, as we call it in the professional business, you can look for past episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, GooglePlay, and YouTube. Look us up on Blue Sky, the official home of the podcast, at noandbillshow.bsky.social. Write to us, noandbill.don'tgetit@gmail.com. Reviews always help. We love those. It's validation, approbation. At Bill Scurry at Blue Sky, at William Scurry on Twitter. And I'm also on Insta, most of the social places. LinkedIn is booming these days. That's really big, where I'm sending out resumes for jobs I want in coal mining, fishmongery, spelunking, falconry, all these things. And you can find some podcast. You can find my video stuff and the podcast on youtube.com/AMCaesar. And now Noah makes noise come out of his glottis.
I try to do that sometimes. Hopefully it is mellifluous noise more often than that. I am all about the Big Quiz Thing. Check us out, bigquizthing.com, America's premier providers of corporate and private live trivia events nationwide, worldwide. Our slogan, Bill, fans first.
Fans first.
No, our slogan is we make trivia fun for everyone, which I think is a cousin to that. I do think there's some similarities in philosophy with me and the Savannah Bananas, if not level of success. But hey, I'm doing all right. We have a Rare Republic event coming up here in San Francisco on September 25th at the Dog Patch Hub. Free to attend. Hosted by me. Check it out. RSVP at bigquizthing.com. And I personally am on... No, you had a comment there?
No, do you think anybody knows the reference of Dog Patch and the name of that watering hole? That's a deep cut there.
It's the name of a neighborhood.
Yeah?
Here in San Francisco.
Oh, really? Oh, because that's also from Lil Abner, too. That's where Lil Abner lived.
Oh, I didn't know that. I mean, I don't know why the neighborhood's called the Dog Patch. If I've ever heard that, I forgot.
Maybe it's a coincidence. Never mind then. Forget I said it.
Please do. If you had the time machine, take it back. We're on Big Quiz Thing, at Big Quiz Thing on Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook sometimes. And I personally am on Instagram at the Noah Tarnow.
All right, everybody. So until the next episode, we'll labor to come up with a better name for a sport than frickin' banana ball itself.
We don't get it.
A production of American Caesar Enterprises 2025.